Hi, we're here today to talk about the intuitive deck and how this deck can have an effect on your life and why is it pretty powerful to work with. So the intuitive deck comes in two parts basically, the top half and the bottom half of each card. And the top half you might say is designed to help remove the negative or the negative tendencies and the negative thoughts that we have. And I'm going to speak about it in a second why that's important and how it works. The second half of the cards will be an action side, and obviously to help increase your intuition. It's also called the intuitive deck. So, the first part, let's go back, is purifying the negative. Now, how did that happen? So, I was doing some research, and I found that a group of scientists in Los Angeles in the 70s discovered that the mind works on questions. And what I mean by questions is all day long we're constantly asking questions. What am I going to do today? Where am I going to eat tonight? What's going on tonight? We're constantly asking questions. So it sounds fine, but the problem is that the scientists found out that we're asking negative questions. We're constantly asking negative questions. We're not even aware that we're asking negative questions. So the top part of the intuitive deck is to help counteract that with using more positive questions. And when you ask the positive questions, it kind of throws the mind a little bit more of a mental speed bump and it's not used to it. Let me give you an example. So if you ask a question like, why am I liked? The mind goes, huh? And says, no, why am I liked? Why do people like me? And it turns out we've been asking the negative questions so much, like people don't like me, I'm not likable, that it kind of reminds us, what are you talking about? Why am I liked? Yeah, it's a powerful question. Why do I have abundance? Why do I have extra abundance? And the mind says, what? What does that mean? We're constantly asking negative stuff like, why don't I have enough money? Why am I poor? So when you start to ask questions like this, it actually kind of throws the mind for a mental speed bump a little bit. And what it does is it has an effect on the world around us. So negative tendencies have a tendency to not only do ourselves damage, but our relationships that we're with people. It kind of sends a vibe out to people around us that we're in a negative tendency thoughts, basically. And so when you start to ask the more positive questions like, okay, why do I have a good relationship? Huh? What is it I like about my relationship? Why do I have a good relationship? The mind says, oh, well, I never thought about that. I've been so busy asking the negative question all the time, I wasn't asking the positive question. Interesting. So, the intuitive deck, the top half, helps counterbalance our negative tendencies, our negative thoughts. So there are 48 great cards in here that have developed over workshops, 20 years of workshops, of topics that people are working on and that they would like to have seen change, and even personal things that I've been working on. So they're really powerful. Now going to the second half of the card, the bottom half of the card, is the intuitive part. How does the intuitive part work? Well, those questions, it finds, our mind is not a storage unit. We think all this data is up here and all this information and knowledge, and we just constantly keep adding knowledge to it. But our mind is more like a receptor. And what I mean by that is there is a greater expansion of information around us. And where we can tap into that information through the process of asking questions, you will start receiving answers that you were pretty surprised of. It's like, wow. So, example, what is it I need to do next to have more abundance? Okay, so the mind runs off to the database and goes to look for an answer. What is it I need to do next to have the perfect relationship? What do I need to do next to be happy in my relationship? The mind runs off and looks for an answer. You ask the same question 100 times a day, you will get 100 different answers. It's very powerful. So now you're actually having an effect on you're getting information, and you're kind of using these tools in this deck to use all 5 senses to sink into your body and listen with your intuition, listen with your heart and your knowledge, and you start to get this information. And eventually you will graduate from using the deck and you will just be asking questions all day long. You'll be like, and you'll be getting answers all day long. And people will be surprised and like, God, this guy's really smart. No, he's just asking the right questions. And it's kind of funny, And I do get information all day, and it's just kind of neat. And it might be some simple things, or it might be real life problems that I'm working on, and I might ask the same question like for a week long straight until I get the answer that I want. And it's pretty neat. It's pretty powerful. So browse this website. It's going to have more training videos, on how to use the deck itself and more information, and we're happy you're checking this out. Thank you, the Intuitive Deck.